So another important transit that will be taking place in May 2026 is Venus moving through Gemini. And Venus will be in Gemini from May 14th all the way through to June 8th. And once it enters Gemini, it will be UT for a period of time in the same sign as Jupiter. At night, please, I implore you to go outside and to look at the sky and see Venus with Jupiter. It is one of the most beautiful things you will see. This is gonna take place on the 14th, so around like the 16th, 17th, 18th, the moon will also be in Gemini, but you'll be able to see a sliver of the most beautiful moon, which will be like 2 days out of it being new, Venus and Jupiter. This is just me nerding out. And Venus is commonly known, of course, as being in the graha of love, relationships. It's less commonly known as being a graha for wealth and for money, but it is, because traditionally, and I mean like old school traditionally, you get your money from your partner. Today, that sometimes still flies. We're in a bit more of a modern society. Bye, baby. But for the most part, you still get money from your partner. So Venus represents love, attraction, our relationships, creativity, material pleasures, and it's associated with beauty, romance, your artistic expression, sensuality, luxury, harmony. All of these things are associated with Venus. So the 3 nakshatras associated with Gemini are Mrigashirsha, Ardra Nakshatra, and Punarvasu. And these are very interesting nakshatras. Mrigashirsha is a nakshatra that straddles both Taurus and Gemini. Mrigashirsha has 3 different marker stars that we like to use to identify it in the sky. One of the marker stars is the eye of the bull of Taurus, and it's red. It's cool. Hunters and gatherers would use it to know when the bulls were going to be passing through when they should go hunting. Astrology is so cool. Look up the history of this star if you would like. Its pratima, its symbol, is an antelope head, and another marker star that we use is part of Orion. It's specifically Lambda Orionis, and it's the brightest star in the cluster that we use to identify this particular marker star. And the Naruta, or the root words that really make up what this term Mrigashirsha, this name, means, are to chase, to hunt, pursue, to seek, to search for, to seek after, examine, investigate, to strive, to aim. So, thinking of those words and thinking of Venus being placed here, do you see where I'm going? It is a really good thing that Jupiter is here, because I have seen in many charts when it's Venus here, and if it's afflicted, which thankfully it's not afflicted. This whole transit is just beautiful. It can lead to not so great chasing where Venus is involved, if you catch my drift. Be mindful, like genuinely be mindful. And this is, again, I'm not trying to scare you in any way, but these transits don't just affect us, they affect everyone. And while we may be very mindful of our behavior and our impact on the world, of how these grahas and their transits affect us, not everyone is. And then they let all of this craziness spill out onto other people. So some things my teacher says for Mrigashirsha, since its pratima, its symbol is this antelope head, there's this symbolism or this idea of foraging, always on the lookout to consume or to be consumed. Deers like to stick to a path. You don't want to put a garden somewhere where there's an unintentional deer track, because they will, no matter what, like creatures of habit, track through it. So there's this idea of following a path. Another root I have, which is to decease, depart from life, to wish to be about to be at the point of to face. We're gonna keep going. So some of the themes associated with this are having a head for maps. So being able to plan really, really, really well. Sometimes planning but never getting it done. Really being strategic about your next moves. Running with the herd as a follower or a doer. So you can be a creature of habit, like a deer that is in a herd or in a group, or you can be that independent stag, that independent person who likes to make your own moves and progress at your own pace. So this can have perhaps this need for companionship or this great need for independence. But notice also any aggressive behavior during this time. This is like a really intense placement that we do look at in charts to make sure there's no weird affliction. Like before I even talk to a man, first of all, why would a man be there? But if a man is there, I'm looking at his chart first, and I'm looking to see if he has any activations of Mrigashirsha, and if so, what does it look like? I'm not trying to like in any way scare you or say this crazy thing is gonna happen, but genuinely be aware of any sort of intense aggressive behavior. And it could just be aggression with words. It doesn't even have to be actual actions. But since Venus is here, but again, it's with Jupiter. And it's really, really, really beautiful. It's completely unafflicted. It has no aspects of any malefics, no Saturn aspect, no Mars aspect. It's not with Rahu Ketu. It's really nice. So the next nakshatra that encompasses Gemini, and it's fully in Gemini, is Ardra Nakshatra. It is a very intense nakshatra. Fuck. But if you can honor it really well, it can serve you. The Yogatara, the star marker we use, it's called Betelgeuse. The Pratima, the symbol for Ardra, is a teardrop, and its god is Rudra, this really intense deity that carries like a fucking lightning bolt and is a storm god, and who got pissed off because he wasn't invited to a Soma gathering, an offer gathering, and destroyed the whole fucking thing. And all the gods had to appease Rudra for him to not like kill them. But this teardrop, the symbolism can evoke sorrow, tears of compassion or tenderness, but also the symbol of a teardrop is in general moisture. So that can be growing things. We grow from our pain. We grow from our hurt. We can use those instances of being uncomfortable to learn to be better. So there is always a plus side to it. There's always the other side of the coin. So some of the Narukta for Rudra, this deity: to roar, to lament, to cry, to wail, to howl, to weep. This is the placement where Venus will be entering after Mrigashirsha. So after this hunting and chasing, there might be a little bit of weeping. I don't know what that says about the trajectory of your love life. There's a lot of other factors that go into it. Hint, hint, if you want to know, you can go to my website and get the love forecast reading so I can tell you about your love life and look at Venus in your chart compared to this transit Venus. I digress. And looking at the Nirukta for Ardra Nakshatra, we have to praise, to approach, to make, to master, to break through, wet, moist, damp, fresh, soft, tender, new, green, living. So this could be a nakshatra of someone who cries and whines and complains, or someone who is a great healer. So this could also be a time for you to heal. And I think those are two sides of the same coin: to wail and to lament, and to cry and to heal. Think about when you experience heartbreak. You can look at it as being like this woe is me, I can't believe this happened, which is fair and valid. And you could also use it as a period to heal. You can use it as a time to examine how you got into this scenario, how you chased and tracked that Mrigashirsha principle, and did it actually serve you? So some of the key themes of this placement is being very deep, very serious. So this Venus moving into this placement, especially with benefic Jupiter, could be you really getting deep and intense with your emotions, with your feelings. Could another person be involved? Sure, it is Venus after all, the planet of love and relationships and beauty. But there is also this self-exploration that you could tap into, and I encourage you to tap into when it comes to your relationship with relationships. Do you tend to chase or do you attract? Do you tend to make a big deal about it, something, or do you not? Ardra is no joke. Venus moving through Ardra, you could genuinely see some conflicts arise, but these conflicts, looking at that two sides of the same coin, could be an opportunity for you to have very serious, very deep conversations with your partner, and then from that, use that principle of the wetness to grow. A lot of healing comes from Ardra as well. There is also, I'm not joking, sadness, anger, and rage. Look up the stories of Rudra, the deity. He's a very intense, divine being, and that could also come with this placement. This could also be a time where suppressed anger could perhaps be something that you deal with. So do you have any suppressed anger with your relationships? Don't keep burying it. Use the moisture to like unearth it and really get serious, dig deep and see what's going on. Ardra Nakshatra can be incredibly healing if you allow it to be. Another theme is abandonment and betrayal. We also have, which I think is one of my favorite themes, is a theme of nature, of being outside, of using nature to heal you. So maybe going for walks, going for hikes, getting into Ayurveda, just using the outside to benefit you. There's a great intensity to this, and there's a great propensity for self-improvement. There's a spiritual questing. This is a very, very spiritual placement. And also an urge for solitude, of being by yourself. So if you are single and dating, I would really strongly encourage you to use this transit of Venus moving through Mrigashirsha and moving through Ardra Nakshatra to become more serious with yourself, to dive deep, to use the healing principles, and to explore your rage, your intensity. Anger is an emotion. It's not good or bad. It's, are you taking your anger out on others? Are you allowing your anger to color your lens of how you move through the world, how you treat people, how you treat yourself? You also use it as fuel to get something done. You can rage clean your home. You can go on a bike ride. You can channel it into something that's actually productive. The one thing I would not recommend to do is to suppress it. I'm not into the woo-woo toxic positivity of, no, don't be mad. Practice ahimsa. Do it in a healthy way. You could paint, you could channel into some creative outlet. You can go to boxing. I love getting my rage out through boxing. Channel it into a healthy way that doesn't cause harm to you or to other people. Especially if during this Venus transit, your loved one was tracking and chasing that Mrigashirsha pattern, someone who they should not have been doing that, and now it's resulting in your rage. And then the last placement of this transit of Venus through Gemini will be in Punarvasu Nakshatra. And this is the nakshatra that straddles a little bit into Cancer as well. We see Punarvasu in the marker stars of Pollux and Castor. That's Punarvasu. The Pratima are two stars that are characterized by a bow and an arrow. So we have this theme of reaching for new heights, of launching in a new direction, of shooting for the moon. Even if you miss, you land among the stars, being very innovative. The deity associated with Punarvasu is Aditi, the mother. And this is all about the sanctity of motherhood, feeling comfortable, feeling supported, being protected. And Punarvasu is very, very, very closely associated with being a technocrat. So inventing things, loving technology. You can maybe even get into your social media bag during this time, being really creative in terms of technology, being a little bit of a perfectionist, being innovative, inventing something. There is a awareness of your diet, this physical culture of being really mindful of your body, being very into sports, being very skillful with your hands. It takes immense skill to properly wield a bow and arrow. So this is, again, that creative prospect. And since Venus is here, that can come into artisanal goods, luxury items, things of beauty, whatever that is for you, for being skillful. Also, bow and arrows are used to protect. We have that protector quality. This idea of being a guardian, security, being a caregiver, being a mother, creating life, and overall just being very, very inventive, very innovative, thinking outside of the box. And with Venus here and expansive Jupiter, this is a really good time to be creative, especially if you are an artist. Do something skillful with your hands. Do something that other people aren't doing. Don't follow the same norms as other people. Kendrick Lamar has really, really, really prominent Punarvasu placement. And that man is very family orientated. He is an insanely creative, innovative man. Just think of To Pimp a Butterfly. He got a fucking Pulitzer for Damn, that album. So that's, what I'm getting at. And he's not this soft man. He's intense. He's definitely that warrior. I'm gonna take up a bow and arrow and get you. Drake. But Venus, this planet of beauty and luxury and aesthetics and harmony and peace, moving through these really intense placements of Mrigashirsha, Ardra, and Punarvasu, is really an opportunity to challenge yourself and see how can you balance these seemingly two opposite themes. One is very soft and very nurturing and desire, and the other is Mrigashirsha and Ardra and Punarvasu. How can you find equilibrium in these moments? How can you utilize them to your best benefit? And we are set up to do these in effective ways because, again, this transit is unafflicted by any malefics, and it has the benefic, beautiful Jupiter there to help expand and to add more sattvic and positive qualities to this transit. But it's all about you using your autonomy, using your free will to make sure that you make good choices that are best for you and the people of your lives. And if you want to know how this transit affects you, of course, go to my website. I have a love forecast reading where I look at your love life. I see how this transit will affect you, because this transit will definitely be affecting my Gemini risings, or anyone who has very prominent Gemini placements, any placements in Punarvasu or Ardra or Mrigashirsha. So if you want to know how this affects you, please feel free to go to my website, shoot me an email, and if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel, like the video, and share it with a friend, especially if you think that they might find it helpful. And thank you for supporting me. I hope that this transit serves you well.